Allies. Representative Mike Rogers is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. He's joining us now. Good idea to have these exercises, as they're called, in Poland, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, all NATO allies.
It's a great idea. You need to reassure our allies that we will be there. We're not walking away from our NATO commitments. Do I think it should be more robust? I do. Do we think we could do larger exercises, NATO exercises, U.S.-led NATO exercises in a place like Poland? I do. But this is a very good start and a very good sign to let Putin know that we won't tolerate, the United States won't tolerate any incursion into NATO states. And I also think and hope that we can get to a better position, a U.S. position in Ukraine.
But Putin knows that an attack on a NATO ally, whether Poland or these Baltic states, that's an attack on all NATO allies. Given Article 5 of NATO, he's not going to be that reckless.
Again, we're not dealing with somebody who has the same rational thought process that we may have thought even 2 years ago. He's made decisions based on what he thinks the position of both NATO and the U.S. are. And currently, he is not certain that that will invoke a NATO response. We are having a hard time getting our European allies even centered around sanctions on what his actions in Ukraine and Georgia. They've walked away from the NATO talks with Georgia because of the Russian invasion in South Ossetia in Georgia.
That was back in 2008.
Back in 2008. And they said they wouldn't be there long. They've built full-time bases for their FSB officers along the borders, big, and I actually have been on the border and seen these sites. They have schools, they have playgrounds. These are not temporary facilities. They're there for good. And so I think all the indicators led Putin to believe he can be more bold, he can be more aggressive. There's just not a lot that NATO and the U.S. can do. Again, you want to push this, you don't want to push it too far. I think this is a good step by the administration to show that we will back our NATO countries and allies.
Let's talk about this joint U.S.-Yemeni airstrike, drone strike in Yemen aimed at Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. Here's the key question. Did they kill the master bomb maker, Ibrahim al-Asiri, who presumably was targeted?
Can't talk about specific operations, but I can tell you that there's been no confirmation that the bomb maker has been killed. I can tell you that this is someone that we worry about greatly. This is somebody who gets up in the morning and tries to devise methods to get around security, to get bombs on airplanes, to blow them up either over a body of water, or over the United States, or over Europe. This is a truly dangerous human being. Affiliated with one of our most dangerous Al-Qaeda affiliates, and that's AQAP.
Because we're hearing from Yemeni sources that they did kill, one of these strikes did kill a Saudi citizen. They're doing DNA testing, sending the body, in effect, to Saudi Arabia to check if this is, in fact, Ibrahim al-Asiri. U.S. officials are being much more cautious.
You know, until you exactly find out who that individual is, it's right to be cautious. The United States has gone down a path of saying, yes, an individual was killed, and found out several weeks later that that individual was not taken out. And so I think it's prudent to be cautious. We'll know the right answer. If this is, in fact, al-Asiri, this is a big moment in disrupting Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula operations, of which we know specifically are targeted to the United States.
Now, without knowing whether or not he was killed, can you at least confirm he was targeted?
Well, I can't talk about a specific operation, but I can tell you that the bomb maker has been someone of interest for our counterterrorism efforts, and has been on the high priority list to take off the battlefield.
I'll take that as a confirmation, although you're not confirming it officially. Was this most recent attack, and it was pretty elaborate, Yemeni ground forces, U.S. assistance with choppers, drones, Hellfire missiles going in, directly linked to that dramatic video that came out, in fact, right here on CNN, thanks to Barbara Starr and her excellent reporting. Was it linked to the release of that video, which sort of showed 100 of these guys, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, boasting on pretty dramatic video?
Well, you know, there has been a little bit of a tug and war in the administration, even those of us in the National Security Committees in Congress, about how to get that policy right. There has been a little bit of a pullback on some of these airstrike operations targeting individuals we know to be dangerous to the United States. So it's not directly related, it has an impact. So when you see that, it is a psychological boost to Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. They've had these meetings before, and you have to remember the hardest part of this is not the airstrike portion of this event. It's all of the intelligence gathering that goes into it. And it is significant. And most people don't get to see that, and rightly so. But it is very sophisticated, very significant. We have people who have worked on these problems for years and years, become experts on individuals and compounds and where they go, so that you make sure that if there is an airstrike ordered, it is exactly right, has very little civilian collateral damage. And so when you see a case like this, it wouldn't be just a short-term event. This would be something that had a long lead-up, could be weeks, months, even years in some cases.
On this issue of drone strikes, you support the administration?
Absolutely. I think they're doing exactly the right thing. Now, in some cases, I think they've pulled back too far, which we can probably talk about on another day.
We'll talk about that another time. Congressman Rogers, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.